Hey, what's up? It's Comic95, the Savior, and for this video, I'm going to be giving you a Ren's Japanese journal. As always, I'm not wearing makeup, my hair's not done, no fancy editing, filters, whatever. Just talking to you how it is. Excuse the squeakiness of my office chair, and yeah, we're not here to look at me and examine what I look like. This is not what this video is about. Rather, we are here to talk about something real. So excuse my ghetto-ness. Trying to multitask, you guys. I am busy. It is Saturday night in Japan. I am unfortunately eating McDonald's again, which I should not be doing, but gosh, I can't help it. Okay, so excuse me as I eat while we talk. But I've been meaning to make this video for quite some time, and I've put it off for a while. And it's a very sensitive topic to lots of different people, including people of my own race, but not myself. I find it interesting. So I'm going to first talk about the issue. I'm going to then talk about my perspective. And what I want you guys to do in the comments, respectfully, meaning that if you cannot do that, I will delete your comment. And more than likely, if the language in your comment is not appropriate, it's going to go straight to spam anyway. If you look at my video about Donald Trump and Japan's love for him, the reason why that video is also lacking a lot of comments is the same situation. White people can't keep their thoughts to themselves. And some ignorant black people that didn't listen to the whole thing saw me as being an Uncle Tom. And of course, it went straight to spam. I'm not going to waste my time re-explaining myself and pulling people out. So, before I go ahead, just as I did in that video, I would give the same warning ahead of time. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to like what I say, but you can be respectful of me and my opinion. You can be respectful of other people's opinions. The goal of this video is not to cause people to fight with each other, hate each other, or anything else. None of that good stuff. Also, I did mention this, excuse my background. Sadly, even though I'm having my little cheat meal, which I shouldn't be having, I got a 5-piece nugget in my defense. Yeah, that's my bedding and stuff. I had to move everything. My house is small. I live in Japan, you guys. And I've been working out at home. So I had to move everything out of the way. So that's why my coats and stuff are all junky and smashed up there. My coffee table is behind me and my couch and bedding and stuff is all over there. And someone just messaged me and my arm is sore. Okay, now that we've wasted a good 5 minutes, this is the problem at hand. There was recently a news article published in English, of course, in which there was an argument being brought up. And I've read other posts about this. So before I get on, my perspective or others, I'm going to tell you what this person was talking about. So this woman, she was a black woman, and I don't remember where she was from exactly, but I think she was actually a black American woman. And she was complaining about how the school had inside their dress code, or maybe it wasn't written inside the dress code, but they told her specifically that she wasn't going to be permitted to wear her earrings. She normally wore hoop earrings that were rather large, if I recall, too. And so the excuse that she was making is that it's a cultural thing, and that by them not allowing her to wear her earrings, it was restricting. Basically, she saw it as being a prejudice type thing, where they weren't allowing her to express herself, express her culture, whatever you want to call it, basically not permitting her to be herself. And while she didn't make this comparison, I saw other people chime in the comments and basically compare that to hair texture. As I always say in all of my videos, let me hold on. Before I get into my stuff, let me finish the story. So, the fact that this news company picked it up was interesting to me. And then I found it even more interesting seeing people's responses. And as you can imagine, it was divided. There were a lot of people that were hardcore weeboos. And when I say weeboos, I don't mean the people that like anime. I'm talking about the Japan worshippers, the people that don't think Japan can do any wrong. And sadly, I hate to say it, but it's a lot of my own people that are like that too. If you look at any of my videos in which I complain about Japan or talk about Black experiences, you will always find at least one person, if not several, that'll be like, well, that was not my experience. Japan is not like that. It's perfect. I've never seen it. No one's ever done that. Those are the real weeboos. The ones that are out of touch with reality, cannot take criticism. This is not to say that you can't have a good experience. As I've said before, I can't relate to a lot of things that people complain and talk about. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I'll be real, not sugarcoat it. In Japan, don't get me wrong, I look busted right now. I'm wearing the makeup, my hair messed up, everything. I'm at home, I'm lazy. I've gained weight during this whole quarantine thing. But even now, if I go outside on a regular day-to-day basis, I have people looking at me, taking pictures, asking to date me. I cannot relate to people that come here, feel ugly, and go back home because they feel like, they're not getting any love from being Black. I feel more loved here than I do at a gas station in Chicago. So on a Saturday night, and that says a lot. So with that said, I can't relate to those people. I don't deal with people being afraid of me, calling me scary, laughing at me, whatever. But I'm not in denial that there are people that do have that experience. That's all I'm getting at. I noticed that a lot of people, when I critique Japan in other aspects, they have to chime in and let you know that they have never seen that. And that's not how it is for them. And sure, this is bad, but this is worse in my country. And it's like, we're talking about Japan, though. And a lot of your statistics, facts, numbers, whatever, are actually off because you can't directly compare countries like that per se. Like, I can't explain it, but to give you a short example, groceries in Japan, I can say that, how can I put it? I can say that chips in Japan are very cheap because there is no such thing as no $5, $6 bag of chips unless you're buying imported items. And I can say in the US, to get a bag of chips, you're looking at paying somewhere between $2 to $4 for the average bag. Well, by that standard, Japanese chips are super cheap. But look at how small the bag is. Look at how few chips you get. Look at how few people they're made to feed. Okay, thus you're not getting the same value. Housing in Japan, in comparison to living in a major city, or even a small place in the US, you're paying a lot more money considering how small of a space you're getting and how out of date the house is. For example, I live inside of a luxury apartment. There is nothing luxury about this apartment. It is literally a modern day US studio is what I have. But in Japan, it's seen as a luxury apartment because I have I have two fancy gas burners or whatever. I have a nice view that overlooks the city from here where I can't put patio furniture out. It's literally just made for me to go hang my clothes outside to dry. I have like a heated tub. I have features like that. I have a powder room that's separate from my bathroom. Little things like that. That makes this place considered as luxury. My door is nice. There's an elevator in my building. There's a nice mirror on the first floor. I have a little storage locker for, delivery box. These are all common things in a U.S. apartment. But in Japan, it's seen as luxurious. Okay, so if I'm comparing that to the U.S. as well as the location, because in America, I cannot live near Chicago for no, $800. Hell no. If I'm going to be, when I say Chicago, I mean the nice area like downtown. And that's where I live. I literally live right outside of downtown Osaka. I can walk there from my place. I can't do that in the US. For $800, I can get near, I can be in Chicago, but I'm not going to be walking distance from, State Street or something. When I say State Street, I mean the nice side of it. I'm not going to be, living somewhere nice. I'm not going to be near no 60606 area code type thing. That's not going to happen. But in Japan, you can. But that's standard living here. Like, that's normal for everyone. That's not normal in the US. Everyone in Japan is paying somewhere between $300 to about $700 something per month for rent. So if you pay a little bit more than that, really anything over, $500 really, it's seen as a little bit expensive unless you're living in Tokyo. And even with Tokyo, you can get a nice apartment there, that's right in the middle of the city, anywhere between $1,200 to about $2,000. That was normal rent for me in Chicago. But again, your space is much smaller. Your rooms are smaller, if it even comes with a separate bedroom. So I'm not going to make this a video on that, not going to get sidetracked, but you get my gist of it. You get my point. When people are trying to make those arguments, they're normally not comparing it properly. And I used to be one of those people. So I'll make other videos on that. I keep saying I'm going to do it. I promise you I will. But let me get back on subject with this. So yeah, I was surprised to see that the news company even picked it up, which would already give you my stance on this before I even get to my opinion. But when it got to the comments, I saw that people were, split between it. And I saw a lot of my own people, Black people, comparing it to hair texture and talking about their experience of being asked to straighten their hair and not to have hair that was so curly, so afro-like, so whatever. And I don't know. I thought that was interesting. Then I saw, of course, white people getting upset over it and saying like, oh, you know, earrings are not, you know, cultural. This is not whatever. Like, you're in Japan, blah, blah, blah. And then there were some people that were understanding and were giving their other examples, people throwing in tattoos and just people talking about everything. So we had accessories and jewelry coming up. We had the conversation about, you know, hijabs and head coverings and scarves. We had the conversation come up about, I think I already said tattoos, about hair texture and even hair color. And yeah, I thought it was all interesting, very interesting. And so the whole time that I'm looking at this, I was thinking like, I just made a video that briefly talked about that. So I made a video talking about the things that, excuse me, I'm trying to show you all my food, chewing my food. I made a video recently talking about how the things that teachers fight and argue over. And all of this stuff was in that video. But the video was not really made to specifically address this issue. So I figured, why not make a journal talking about it? So now that I've told you the basics of that article, so this girl's complaining, I think she's trying to sue them or something. I couldn't help, I kind of wanted to laugh, I'm not even gonna lie. But I'm trying to be a little bit understanding. So I know we're gonna be split on this, people are gonna get angry at me and see me as being a sellout or whatever else. Because as always, anytime that I try to talk about something that deals with Black people, people try to throw in like, oh, like you're mixed, you can't talk on this, you know, whatever. But then if I talk about something on the flip side of it, then it's, oh, well, you know, you're Black. You can't understand, you can't relate. So it's like, you know, whatever. But anyway, I have to say this. I understand as a Black person certain aspects of what these people are trying to say. I understand as a foreigner things that I don't have, like tattoos and exotic piercings or whatever. People feel like they're being restricted. But I also must say that you have to understand, I won't even say it's a matter of choosing battles, which ones to fight, but you have to understand what is a real argument to be had and what is a matter of entitlement and an unwillingness to conform, to assimilate and change. And that is not going to rub people the right way, but it's realistic. You cannot go into someone else's country and tell them that they have to accept the way that you choose to dress, the way that you've chosen to alter your body. And I hate when people make these arguments because then it discredits the real arguments that we have. And, oh, before I forget, I'm so happy, you guys. I was cleaning my room just last night and I found my necklace that my boyfriend gave me. I lost it. It'd been gone for the longest. And so, yeah, so you guys know, I'm so happy. Okay, but anyway, back on subject. It discredits it because then when Black people or any other person for that matter, when we want to talk about being mistreated or abused or disrespected simply because of how we look, because of the color of our skin, because of stereotypes and assumptions about us. Nobody wants to hear us anymore because now all people get is, oh, you all complain about everything, you know, politically correct, PC, whatever type stuff. And I kind of can't, I'm not saying that it's right, I'm not saying it's right, but I kind of can't blame them when it comes to some stuff because, I mean, look at the situation, you guys, seriously. You cannot compare earrings to skin color, tattoos to skin color. And when it comes to hair, this is where we're going to argue in this. I do not believe that you should be restricted with having curly hair, or shall I say forced to have straight hair, or straighter hair. But it is definitely reasonable for an employee to ask you to style your hair a certain way. For example, if your employer requests that you wear your hair in a bun, or that you wear it in a ponytail. As long as your other coworkers with straight, wavy, whatever, loose or curl hair, as long as they're being requested to do the same thing, it is not unreasonable by any means. An employer also has the right, we're going to lose it here, guys, but like I said, this is not the US. This is not the UK. An employer also has the right to decide that they don't want braids in their company. And I hate to say it as a Black person, but I'm just being real. Look at it this way. There are exceptions to the rule nowadays, but when you watch, let's say, the news, how many times do you see a newscaster with braids? And times have changed nowadays, but you still don't see it. You want to know why? There's probably a rule for it, and or people just don't see it as being, quote unquote, I know it's going to hurt people, but professional. And that's more of a debatable topic. But again, your company has the right to decide what hairstyles they deem okay and ones that aren't. As long as they are saying that Becky can't wear braids either, then I don't see why there's an issue for them saying no braids at all. If it's race specific, because of course, let's be real, we're the ones that normally wear braids. But if it's race specific, then fine, totally agree with you. But in this case, if the standard dress code is for everyone to wear their hair back in a ponytail, and your argument is that you're a natural and you want to wear your hair down, sweetheart, this is not the country. This is not, excuse me, I'm spitting. This is not the battle to be had. And it's like, I feel like some people just come here just to complain or to try to like paint this narrative of their life being so hard because they're Black. And again, I have advocated for this a million times on my channel. I've always talked about stuff like this. Being Black does make your life significantly harder, and being in a foreign country adds to it. But what I'm saying is, there's a difference between issues directly related to things that you can't change. For example, if somebody's asking you to relax your hair in order to have the job, that is problematic. Why is everybody messaging me right now? But if a company's just asking you to pull your hair back, why is that an issue? I've worked at jobs where they've asked me to wear my hair in a ponytail because it was too long, and I was kind of pissed off. Like, her hair is barely shorter than mine. She ain't got to wear her hair back. Well, if you don't like it, then cut your hair. That's the solution. And so in this case, it's like, they're not asking you to cut your hair. They're not asking you to relax it. Just pull your crap back. There was somebody in the comments that claimed that they were having her do that. And I can't comment on that because I've never seen or heard of that. But I have to be honest, I don't believe that. I've probably worked more jobs than every single person, every Black person living in Japan. And I ain't proud of it, but I'm being honest with myself. I've quit a ton of jobs. I've been fired. I've moved a lot. So much stuff has happened and changed for me here. So I'm not trying to, sit up here on my high horse, but just speaking from personal experience, I have yet to see a job ever say that, you cannot have curly hair. I've worn my hair curly at every job that I've ever had. So, and I'm not even going to use myself as an example because I know that I have looser curls than the average person. I have 3B, 3C hair. My hair is straightened right now. But I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, why are we making problems that don't really exist, basically? Like, choose battles that are actually worth fighting. Like, let's stop complaining about little stupid stuff like this. And the best way that I see it is, you would not go to some country in the Middle East and complain about having to wear a hijab because you're not Islamic and you don't care about dressing modestly and you don't care about people seeing your hair and you think it's stupid. Like, why are these women, they're wearing full faces of makeup to look, sexy, but for some reason I can't show my hair or cleavage. I saw girls all the time. And for those of you that don't know, I always have to give this disclaimer. My family is Islamic. I'm not speaking out of my butt. I'm speaking from experience. You will see people wearing Victoria's Secret and pink clothing, but then have the audacity to have on like 6 shirts underneath it. It's like, what's the purpose in wearing this out in public then? If you can't let nobody see your cleavage because you're wearing a V-neck shirt, like it's just so weird. And it's the principle of it. Why are you shopping at the store then? So whatever, I ain't gonna go there. But my point is, let me stay on subject. How dare you go into somebody's country like that? You wouldn't say that. You would keep your mouth shut. You would accept the fact this is their rule, this is their religion, I'm respecting it. Japan is not a religious country, but they run like a religious country. Japan is extremely modest. Men here faint at the sign or sight of cleavage. They don't even need to see, a nipple. It's like a country full of 6th grade boys. And it's very annoying at times. They think the sight of legs are sexy, which that's another argument people keep trying to make. And it's like, I don't know who started that rumor. I saw a lot of people talking about that before I came to Japan, but I don't know who really started it. It is definitely not acceptable to show a lot of leg hair. I would know firsthand. One of my first memories that I had of having a shit-talking Japanese person, I've said the story a million times. I was wearing black opaque tights, you guys, with a long trench coat, and I did have on a mini skater dress. But the skater dress hit right above my knee, so it wasn't even that short. And mind you, I'm 5'3", so I'm not no like 12-foot tall girl where, I had like some super long legs, which my legs are long, even though, I'm not really tall. But in Japan, I'm tall. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, okay. And so these guys are just ripping on me in Japanese, talking about me, whispering back and forth, about how my outfit was slutty and about how foreign girls don't care about their clothes and they're just wearing sluttier and sluttier stuff every year. Ain't nobody say nothing. All them Japanese bitches was quiet. They just let him rip on me. And both of them was two salarymen that were talking about me. And so, that's a prime example. And so it's not just me. You see it all the time. If you see a girl walking around, especially a foreign girl, wearing clothing that reveals her legs, shows a lot of arm, dudes are literally breaking their neck to look, back at her, or they'll come up to her and try to ask her for her number, or tell her she's so beautiful, ask her for sex. People are crazy. So, in fact, I don't even know which area was worse between Tokyo and Osaka. It's probably both the same, to be honest. But my point is, I get what you're trying to say. And again, if that rule is not going across the board for everyone, then I'm on board with you that it is racist, wrong, and not fair. But when there's a rule set in stone for everyone, your goal should not be to try to find a place where you can invade the space and try to be a game changer, make new rules, so to speak. A company has the right to say you cannot have crazy, unnatural hair colors. They have the right to say that they don't want to see your tattoos. They have the right to say that you can't wear earrings at all. They have the right to say they want modest and or small ones. They have the right to say no facial hair. There are countries, religions, all different type of stuff that forbid these things. Some people have to keep their beards. Some people have to, wear earrings or makeup or whatever type of stuff that your country, your religion, whatever has. And if that's the case, I hate to say this and sound like the colonizers in the U.S., but I got to be real. Why not just go back to your home country then? If your whole goal is to just try to break all the rules, why not just go back? Then you have people like myself and others who are arguing and fighting about following the rules and being treated unfairly, where you come along and your goal is to reinvent the wheel and you want people to, follow the leader and do what you want to do. Like, what? So I get it, trust me, but I feel like it's not even remotely the same thing. And I'm sorry for this particular woman. Let's be real. As a Black American woman, a lot of the stuff going on right now is due to media and pop culture. There's a lot of things that have been historically a part of our culture and, whatnot, but everything's become a trend. People were not wearing head wraps, head scarves, whatever, until recently within the Black American community. Hoop earrings we've been wearing for a long time, but it has nothing to do with so much of a cultural thing, more of a cultural trend. It's been a fad. You are not going to die for not wearing hoop earrings. I would know personally. I loved hoop earrings until I became an adult. I think I didn't stop wearing hoop earrings till I was maybe like 19 or 20 years old. And for some reason, I just stopped. I realized I look better with the, dangly, hanging earrings, whatever you want to call them. And so I started buying those. And I might buy some hoop earrings again eventually. But for right now, I'm okay with wearing the earrings that I normally have. And so again, if this rule is not being carried over to the Japanese and or white staff, then I'm all for you. I agree with your, stance on this. But it seems like that's not the case. People are just trying to find something to get upset over. And the same thing goes with tattoos. I get it. A lot of people have them in the Western world. But you can't blame a country for deciding that they don't like, even for people that come from the West, your parents probably warned you not to get a tattoo, probably told you it was a bad idea, stupid, whatever. And now that you have one, now you're crying about it, you're upset, it's not fair, it's whatever. And again, I totally understand to a certain degree and extent. You can educate people. I have nothing wrong with that. Letting people know just because you have a tattoo does not mean that you're a gang member or that you're whatever. But you also can't get upset and or blame people for choosing not to hire you, not wanting you, because of a bad choice that you made. That was your choice. And again, I hate when these things are being compared to race. You chose to get that stupid butterfly tattoo on your back or the New York skyline on your arm. I did not wake up and say, I want to be black today, or for life for that matter. I did not ask God for curly hair. These are things that I cannot help about myself and that I am judged for. The things that you're talking about are personal choices. You actually still have the choice to get your tattoo laser removed. You can take out your earrings and close that hole up right now. You do not have to wear a headscarf or, I don't know, hoop earrings to show people that you're a black woman. And even as far as religions go, and I hate to say this because I'm religious myself, I'm a Christian, but even as far as that goes, like with headscarves, and again, my family, out of respect for them, if I go to something, like whenever, I talked about this before, I forgot the name of the restaurant. Whenever my grandma comes to Chicago, we normally go to, there's this really big restaurant in Chicago that's really popular for Muslims. If you're from Chicago, please tell me the name of it, I forgot. And yeah, like I feel so out of place whenever I'm there, but out of respect, I dress according to how they dress in order to not be disrespectful. Do I normally wear, a turtleneck up to my nose? Well, no. But when I'm there, yes, I'm going to. It's out of respect for her religion. I don't have to believe in Allah to respect my grandma. I don't have to be a jerk and disrespectful to her mosque, to her religion, to her friends, her organization, whatever. I just don't agree with it. And that's the way I see it here. You don't have to agree with the rules. You don't have to like covering up your tattoo. You have to like taking down your earrings to do it. Just follow the rules. Simple. And if you can't follow it, can't do it, just leave. If you want to complain about something, argue, fine. Talk about human rights. Talk about women's rights. Talk about differences in how foreigners and Japanese people are treated. But this is not one of them. This is a cultural rule. And if you're not cool with that, I literally can't relate to you. Like, this doesn't make any sense. It's a dumb argument to be had. So, again, I understand to a certain extent, but you have to understand that Japan is not a religious country. And so while you may be required to wear certain things or look a certain way in order to follow your religion's rules, when you are teaching English or working here, period, it's for a business and their goal is to make money. And the reality is most people in Japan will be put off by a company that appears to be run by Muslims. And I hate to say that again. I'm not trying to come at people, whatever. I'm just being real. I'm not sugarcoating and saying exactly how it is. I know I have subscribers that are Islamic. Y'all gonna dislike it and get mad at me, whatever. But I don't care. Like I said, I'm saying exactly how it is. I don't agree with things to a certain extent. People need jobs. People are human. But again, your religion is a choice. It is optional. If people were to go back to, like I said, to some of you all's home country, for example, in the Middle East, I cannot come there and, start riots or whatever and arguments with people and be like, oh, well, I'm a Christian, so you can't make me wear a headscarf. Do you think I'm going to get support, or will I get my head cut off? I'm just saying. So as ignorant as that sounds, I mean, it's the truth, though. If I can't do it in your country, why do you expect Japan to allow you to do that here? And to be honest, for a lot of people, it's like, you should really kind of see it as though you're lucky in a sense you even made it that far. Because for most places and, most people, as I said before, if you're not clearly, if you look like you belong to one of these organizations, one of these religions, a lot of places won't even give you the time of day. They won't interview you. They won't call you back. They won't care about you. So the fact that a company has even reached out to you and said, hey, we'd love to hire you, we'd like to interview you, but you're going to have to take this off. Or you're going to have to do whatever. I totally understand your feelings, because if you're truly committed to your religion, you're not going to do that for a job. I totally understand. You can't do that. It puts you in a difficult situation. You need the money, but you just can't do it. And I totally hear you, but you can't blame them as a country for wanting money and not wanting to not being willing to make a sacrifice for you. Why go through all of that with you? And they can just hire somebody else that doesn't have to wear hoop earrings. Somebody else that doesn't mind tying their hair back into a ponytail. I don't get it. I really don't. And that's the thing too. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't feel like people, a part of the little natural hair movement, whatever, that you have to have your hair looking like, 3C type whatever hair in order to wear it down and natural. But at the same time, I find that a lot of people seem to purposefully like making their hair look as crazy as possible and then crying racism. And I hate people that do that because, again, it takes away from the legitimate cases. For example, you cannot dye your hair pink and get braids that are down to your toes and then say, oh, they're racist, they won't let me do whatever. And it's like, girl, what job in the U.S. is going to let you wear your hair like that? Professional place of work besides Walmart. You can't wear your hair like that. Same thing goes for nails. I've seen girls try to argue on that too. It's like, have y'all done no research before you decided to come and teach in Japan? It seems like y'all just, got on YouTube. You were like, oh my God, I like anime from watching Toonami, Cartoon Network, whatever. And you decided, I like Asian men, I like Asian women, whatever the case is, and you're just going to make yourself a life here. And then y'all come here and get smacked in the face with a ton of bricks. And you're like, what? I can't do this. I can't have that. Well, they don't have this. They don't have that. And it's like, do y'all do no research? Really? And then here goes your thing. Get this. If for whatever reason you don't want to do things this way, there are other companies that don't care and will let you, wear whatever you want to. There are schools that let you dye your hair crazy colors. I worked at one last year. There are schools that let you wear whatever kind of braids you want. I worked at one last year too. You can do this stuff. But it might not be the company that you're currently working at or the place that you want to work at. And that's what you have to change. Same thing goes in the US. One of my first jobs that I had was working as a barista at Starbucks. And you want to know what I had to do? I was no longer allowed to have long nails like how I have right now. These are my natural nails. I was not allowed to polish my nails. I don't normally wear crazy colors. I normally just do clear anyway. And they wanted you to either tie your hair back if it wasn't, short, or to, put it up or, do whatever, wear a hairnet, do something. You couldn't wear perfume. And back then I did wear perfume religiously every day. There were all type of little rules. That is not a battle to fight. Should I argue and say, oh, they're not allowing me to express myself as a Black woman because I can't do whatever? Please stop with that foolishness, because then when we have real issues as Black people, nobody wants to hear it. And I'm not saying that excuses it or makes it fair or true, but that's the way that the world works. We can preach to ourselves as Black people all we want to about things not being fair for us. But if we don't have people of other races, white, Asian, Hispanic people, how is anything going to change? We already know that our lives matter. We already know things about ourselves. We already know our own issues. It does no good when we don't have support from the other side. And when we complain about stupid, small things, it discredits us. It makes it where we're not, credible. We're not believable. It's like, y'all just complain about anything. And I'm sorry, I feel that way about this case. Nobody wants to have to change their style, their fashion, or what they do. But it's understandable why you're being expected to do so. I worked a job just, last summer where they asked me to cut my nails. And I was not a big fan of that. They asked me to tie my hair back too, and no earrings. It's like, dang, just take away my whole appearance with you. I really didn't want to cut my nails because I spent a long time growing out my nails and polishing them and keeping them, nice. And I like the look of fake nails, but with my natural nails, because natural nails give you the same grip that you would have that fake nails do not. And it's a gazillion times healthier too. I didn't want to do it. The reason for it made sense, but it was stupid because I know that I've worked countless jobs that don't require that. But I have to understand this is this company's rules. So it's like, people do their own thing or whatever, and they say whatever they want to and believe whatever they want to as well, because again, not to discredit other people, I do kind of have a hard time believing some people's stories about stuff. Like some people be having some crazy stories about things that we're allegedly not allowed to do. And I think for the most part, like Japan they don't have the same history that countries like the US has, like with hair textures and colors and not colors, but with hair textures and things like that. So when it comes to school students, yes, but generally a company that's hiring you as a foreigner, if anything, they like the exotic look you have going on, that, you clearly have a different hair texture or whatever. The hair colors are a whole other story. Like normally that's not going to be acceptable. But again, some places don't mind. And again, like with earrings, just like with my nails, it was seen as a hazard. You have long, dangly earrings, whatever. Okay, a kid can pull them, rip your ear, or you can stab another child, whatever, just weird freak accidents. That same company that didn't allow my long nails, they didn't allow watches either. And the reason was I had a student that, I forgot what happened. I don't know if it was their school or another company, but basically a male teacher had on a watch, and his watch actually ended up clocking a student in the head, and it got caught in this girl's hair, and he ended up ripping out some of her hair, and they got in really big trouble with the parent. So I hate when people like messing with that I don't want to talk to. It's always some creep. But anyway, so yeah, like the rule made sense. And to me, I saw this kind of being unfair. So you're basically saying that because one dumb foreigner did something that the rest of us can't. And so, of course, the Japanese staff were following that rule too, so you couldn't really argue with it. But the principle of it was still stupid. You're saying that because one person did it, now none of us can be trusted. There are schools that have rules that don't allow, any type of, drink bottle inside the classroom for all type of weird reasons. There's schools that don't allow hot beverages. It's all these different type of, things and rules or whatever. And again, at the end of the day, they do make sense. You understand why they have the rule if you really think about it, but it doesn't change the fact that through your lens, from your perspective, it's not fair. Because you think about places that do allow that, don't have this or whatever. And we can claim that everything has to do with culture or whatever, but this is how I see it. If they're not asking you to change something about your complexion, they're not asking you to change the texture of your hair, it's not a racist issue. Tattoos are optional. Hairstyles are optional. Facial hair is optional. And so is head wear, whatever. You can choose your religion. You can choose your fashion. You can choose what you do to your body. You cannot choose the way you were born. You cannot choose what your hair looks like naturally. You cannot choose what complexion you are naturally. You can alter these things just like how you can alter your body by getting piercings and tattoos. But that's a different argument. And so as far as that goes, I'm totally for people that argue with that and have disagreements and, are angry about that, whatever. That is something that we can fight for and argue on. But please, let's stop with the silliness with the whole earring thing and tattoos and whatever. And again, I get it. You would feel happier, more comfortable with being allowed to have these things and allowed to express yourself. But it's silly because even in the U.S., even although at this point, baby boomers are dying off and aging out, most people, in my opinion, do seem to have tattoos, especially Black people. It's hard to find a Black person that got a tattoo that's over the age of 18. I don't think I have any friends that don't have a tattoo. And I'm not 30 yet. I'm 25. So just like thinking about that. And so even then, most companies in the US will not hire you with a visible tattoo. They would tell you it needs to be covered. And so sure, you don't want to be hot and sweaty all day long, but weren't you warned not to get a tattoo? And didn't you insist on getting a tattoo? And now you're complaining that people don't want to hire you because you have a tattoo and you can't go to onsen and there's all of these, restrictions, can't go to the gym. It's just some type of crap. So I don't get, even like dating wise, some people don't want to date you because you have one. Because like tattoos, depending on the person you're dating, some people can see them as being masculine, like how smoking is. There's a lot of guys that, even if they smoke themselves, they don't want to date a girl that smokes too. So, excuse my chair, it can be viewed that way as well. So, I don't know. I want to know your opinion, your argument. I know I made people upset. And again, I cannot stress that enough. Let me make it very clear. I'm going to leave a comment to you because I know bitches don't know how to read and know how to listen. The argument is not curly hair, skin complexions. Rather, it is a matter of people possibly, potentially lying or exaggerating their circumstance, and or people not being willing to follow the rules. You can have curly hair and be wearing your hair in a hairstyle that is very unnatural and kind of crazy. Just like you can have straight hair and be wearing some crazy, ridiculous hairstyle too. That is understandable. If a company has a policy in which staff are kind of expected to wear their hair pulled back or in a more laid down, relaxed type way. When I say relaxed, I don't mean as in straight. I mean not, going on. I think that's understandable. A company saying, yeah, you can wear earrings, but they have to be studs, no hoops. That's understandable. A company saying that you cannot wear a hat or some type of head covering, whatever, that's understandable. You don't like it? Find a company that specifically hires people that are Islamic. Don't like it? You can always go back to your own country. And so, again, when it comes to arguments about human rights, that's different. If a company's saying that they're not going to hire you because you're from the Middle East, solely because of that, you have an argument. But if a company is saying we're sorry, but we can't allow anyone to wear hats or, scarves or whatever, it goes against our, company policy, parents don't feel comfortable with us, whatever, that's their rules as a company. They know their clientele. This is their country. Again, I cannot go to the Middle East and tell them I'm a Christian. I don't wear this crap. That would not be acceptable. I would be expected to dress how they want me to at their company. And I think Japan has the right to say that to us. Same thing goes in the US. Like I said, I've worked jobs that required me to wear my hair in a ponytail. I didn't like it. But those were their rules. Everything is not a matter of your hair texture or your skin color. But when that is the case, then yes, I'm 100% fighting for you. I'm 100% behind you. But let's stop trying to make everything a matter of us, like trying to reinvent the wheel and trying to challenge everything that Japan throws at you just for the sake of doing it. There are bad things here. There are bad people here. There are bad companies here. And I'm not in disbelief that people have had experiences where they were asked to actually straighten their hair out of ignorance. I can believe that's happened, but I don't believe that's the case for most people in these circumstances. I think for most people, it's more so a matter of a company saying, you can't wear your hair down, or you can't wear, braids, something like that. Like you have to wear it back in a ponytail or in a bun or, whatever the case might be. And even then, I think most companies actually would like to say something, but don't feel comfortable saying anything because they don't fully understand Black hair. So instead, a lot of companies that do allow you to wear whatever you want to, they just don't feel comfortable telling you not to do it. But from their perspective, you look unprofessional, ghetto, whatever. They don't understand, like, why would this person look like that at work? I've worked with people like that. I've worked with people that have gotten crazy hair colors, weird, strange braids. And it's like, if you don't get braids, can you get something cute at least? And come on, you're a teacher. And you have, blue and pink hair. Sure, you're expressing yourself and having fun, and that's awesome that your job is letting you do it. But you can't pretend like it's a racist thing if another company says you can't. Because I promise you, in your home country, they probably would not allow you to do that there either. So why are you trying to give, Japanese companies, Japanese people a hard time and make them out to be these horrible, bad people for not letting you do something that you can't even do in your own place? I don't get that. So I'm done. I'm just rambling at this point. I'm just so annoyed by that because all I saw in the comments was people saying I'm tired. I'll go back to your home country, whatever. And trust me, it pains me to be on the side of the colonizer, but I have to actually agree with them on this one. If it is killing you to take those stupid hoop earrings out of your ear, if it is killing you to have to cover up your tattoo, why did you choose to work here? Did you not read any of the stuff before you came here? If you want to fight for something, then fine. Civil rights and being treated like a human being is something that should be demanded in any country. That I am okay with people fighting for. Trying to fight and make differences and changes with being accepted for dressing like a whore or dressing like you belong to some religion or some cult or some whatever and wanting everyone to accept you, that's different. People have the right to say that they don't like this appearance, this look for their company. You are not your religion. You're a part of it. You've chosen to join it. You can stop any day you want to. And if you can't do it, you're not willing to do it, then you don't have to work for this place. That's simple. Nobody's stopping you from eating, sleeping, living your life. And if and when that does become the case, if people are mistreating you because of your religious choice, please do not compare that to racial issues, because they are not one and the same. And this goes for Black people too, because everybody that's Muslim or anything else doesn't mean that you're white or from the Middle East or whatever. You can very much indeed be a Black Muslim, like my family. And the same thing goes for them. They have a double issue. You're dealing both with issues as a Black person and as a religious person that belongs to Islam. One of them is something that you can't change about yourself. The other is. And I'm not necessarily advocating for you to change yourself for a job, but rather to say you have to understand that because of your religion, there are job restrictions. As a Christian, I am not going to sign up for a job at a strip club and then get upset because they don't want me to be passing out tracts to my customers after I give them a lap dance. That's understandable. There is so much irony in that. So I'm just like picturing that in my mind right now. Okay, I'm sure I can argue and get mad and be like, but this is my religion. God calls me to do whatever. But do you really have to get a job here? And I can argue maybe this is the only job available to me at the time. I need money to support my family. Well, you can find another means to make money, support your family, just it ain't going to be here. They're not saying they don't hire black people. They're not saying they don't hire religious people. They just don't want that look, that image at their company. Being religious in a country that does not have an actual religion is a very interesting thing. So I'm done. Like I said, I'm rambling at this point. Let me know your opinions. What do you think? Like I said, most people disagree with me. In the comments on these articles or whatever, it was mostly white people, basically, the real weeboos, arguing and defending Japan. In this case, I was on their side on this one. But on the flip side of it, you saw a lot of minorities, people from South Asia, some people from the Middle East that were arguing and saying, yeah, I've had this happen. There are Black Americans arguing, saying that this isn't right and that they're going to wear whatever they want to and do whatever they want to with this, that, and the other. And again, if somebody's asked you to change your texture, complexion, I'm 100% for you. But I don't think that's been the case for most people. There are exceptions to every rule where somebody has had that happen to them. I believe it. But everyone or a lot of people, I doubt that. So what's your thoughts? What's your opinion? Do you think Japan has the right to say that they do not allow these things? Does Japan have the right to say you cannot wear earrings? Does Japan have the right to decide what hairstyle you can have? Does Japan have the right to decide about hats and head coverings, etc.? I remember being in school and there being rules with us not being able to wear hats or scarves or whatever. So I don't know. So let me know your opinions. Let me know what you think. And we can talk about that down in the comments. Remember, we're referring to Japan. Okay, we're talking about Japan. Is it okay for them to do this? Do you think it's fair? If not, why is it not fair? Do you think it's right? Do you think that people arguing about this discredits and takes away from issues that deal with racial experiences? And keep in mind, when I say race, I know when white people hear it, they instantly think Black versus Japanese or Black versus white. No, sweetheart. When you are in Japan, you are now one of us for the first time. You can't say the N-word, but you're one of us. And you're going to get treated like one in a way. People will like you and your culture, but when need be, they will put you in a box and say, you don't understand, you're not one of us. You're fun and for show. You're sexualized and used as a standard of beauty. I'm talking about white people. But you ain't Japanese and you don't get treated like you're Japanese at the end of the day. And with that said, when I'm talking about racial issues, you are included. Housing discrimination, job discrimination, ghost seating, people avoiding you, that all happens to white people too. It is not a Black specific issue. Remember, the majority of foreigners in Japan are actually white. And when I say foreigners, I mean non-Asian ones. There are hardly any Black people here. And really, same thing goes for the U.S. Even with the inclusion of mixed race people, the U.S. sits at less than 20% Black people. I think it's only 13%. And if you were to take away mixed people and give them their own category, the true number of African Americans is unknown, but I estimate it's probably less than 10%. Probably significantly less than 10%. Probably looking more like 5 or 6%. But that's another story. So with that said, let me know your opinions, your thoughts, argue down in the comments. Keep it respectful. Keep it respectful. You can disagree with me. You can have your own opinions. You can disagree with Japan. You can say whatever you want to as long as it's respectful. Please do not say anything hurtful or insulting to other people in the comments too. This is not a video on, whose religion is better or whose culture is better, whose whatever is better. I'm totally aware of the fact that for example, some countries in Africa, these things really are a part of the, culture or whatever. But even then, it's like, you're in Japan though. So some things that are okay to do in your country or in your culture are no longer okay. For example, we can all agree that people that come from warmer climates typically dress a lot more sexual, and dances are a lot more sexual too. Like, we come from a totally different culture. People from Europe, there's a lot of hugging and touching and kissing and stuff. You would not come to Japan and expect to kiss people with your greetings and be met with that being okay. You will be seen as a sexual offender. And with that said, can you get mad at Japanese people for not being okay with you trying to do things that you would normally do in Italy or France? No. You have to come to the fact and accept that it's not appropriate. Or if you're from, South America or Mexico, whatever, I don't know what countries do. I'm ignorant. But you would have to come to terms with the fact that it is not acceptable to hug and kiss and touch on strangers, especially of the opposite sex if you're a man. So that's it. I'm done. Let's argue. Tell me what you think. Again, keep it respectful. Keep it sweet. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, leave a comment down below letting me know what you think. Give your stance on this opinion or this topic. And as always, I'd appreciate if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. You can also follow me. I have an Instagram account, I have a Twitter, and a Facebook and Snapchat as well. So all of the links for that are down in the description at Comic95 and Comic the Savior, respectfully. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.